Gonna push a little harder, gotta make it right. Like a wet fart, lit for the very first time.
Listen closely, you cool cats and existential seekers. Tune your desperate little dials past the endless squawk of commercial bliss and arrive, finally, at the place where the real narrative unfolds.
This is the Beat Generation Revisited. I'm your host, Nar Rator, and I'm just trying to figure out why the cosmos gave us consciousness,
only to saddle it with a 9 to 5.
Tonight, we peel back the thin, fragile membrane of civility to observe a species unlike any other.
The HomoFreakian. One who is human, yes, but oddly different. We follow the frantic, futile movements of two such specimens.
Saint Don Dominico and his serene, unnervingly competent wife, Peace Don HomoFreakian.
What you are about to hear is not a tale of towering mountains or the deep, silent ocean.
No.
This is an exploration into the most private, most agonizing theater of
the human condition, the call of the wild stomach, the existential threat posed by a simple, broken piece of porcelain.
The latest chapter in their pitiful, beautiful struggle is known, simply, as the HomoFreakian World, Nature Calls.
We witness St. Don, a man of profound patience, suddenly transformed into a clench-cheeked, frantic blur.
His journey to the outhouse becomes a treacherous, soul-testing odyssey, fraught with catastrophic miscalculations.
The trauma of chili-induced horror and, dare I whisper it, sharts of biblical proportions.
These are the sounds of true, unadulterated digestive distress, an apocalyptic fire hose filled with gravy being emptied into a metal bucket.
The fragile balance of the ecosystem is shattered by the thunderous roar of his flatulence.
The forest creatures scatter, recognizing this level 5 code red catastrophe for what it is, the desperate, smelly poetry of man versus burrito.
Will St. Don conquer his porcelain destiny? Or is this whole grand, stinking enterprise merely a metaphor for the inevitable wet futility of it all?
Tune in, man, and listen to the ballads of the broken throne, the bubble guts, the brown volcano, the burrito, and the cosmic fart before the silence finally descends.
The Ballad of the Broken Throne. It was a glorious morning in the HomoFreakian household. Birds were singing, the sun was shining, but a great darkness loomed. Saint Don Dominico, a man of profound patience, faced a trial that would test his very soul. The main toilet, the porcelain heart of the home, was broken. A silent, horrified scream echoed in his mind. In the living room, the serene Peace Don HomoFreakian sensed a disturbance in the force. She paused her morning tea, a single, elegant eyebrow raised in question. "My dearest saint," she called out, her voice like the chiming of a tiny silver bell, "is everything all right?" Dawn burst into the living room, a whirlwind of frantic energy. "Peace, my love, a catastrophe of unspeakable proportions has occurred," he declared, striking a dramatic pose. "The throne has fallen. I must undertake the great journey to the outhouse." Peace simply nodded, taking a calm sip of her tea. "Godspeed, my brave adventurer. May the winds be at your back." And with that blessing, St. Don Dominico was gone, blasting out the front door in a blur of plaid and majestic beard. The journey was perilous. The yard, once a familiar friend, was now a treacherous landscape. A flock of judgmental birds watched from a nearby branch, chirping what sounded suspiciously like commentary. "He's not going to make it," squawked a blue jay. From her window, Peace watched the epic sprint unfold. A delicate, musical laugh escaped her lips. "Oh, my darling HomoFreakian," she whispered to herself. "So much drama for such a simple quest." Suddenly, an obstacle. A fearsome garden gnome, with a pointy red hat and a sinister painted smile, stood directly in his path. With the grace of a wild gazelle, St. Don Dominico executed a perfect anime-style leap, soaring over the ceramic guardian. "HomoFreakian hurdle," he yelled. And then he saw it, bathed in a heavenly ray of sunlight, standing proudly at the edge of the woods, the outhouse. It was more beautiful than any castle, more welcoming than any palace. A single, glistening tear of pure relief traced a path through the dust on his cheek. With a final, desperate burst of speed, he covered the last few feet. He threw open the wooden door with a triumphant roar that echoed through the trees. Victory! The quest was complete. The saint had reached his sanctuary. Back in the main house, all was quiet again. Peace took another sip of her now cool tea and smiled. A small hummingbird zipped to the window and hovered for a moment as if to give her a report. "All is well in the kingdom," she said softly.
Whoa, heavy, man. Heavy. Heavy. You feel that vibration? That wasn't just the tectonic plates shaking loose, cats and kittens.
That was the sound of a porcelain dream shattering into the cosmic void. The throne is broken.
The king has fallen. And the air, well, let's just say the atmosphere is thick with realization. But don't touch that dial, and for the love of the cosmos, don't light a match.
Because what comes next isn't just a rumble in the jungle. It's an eruption of truth from the deepest crater.
Stay tuned, Star Children. Next up on the playlist of life, we're diving headfirst into the magma. Prepare your senses for Nature Calls Episode 2.
The Ballad of the Brown Volcano. Can you dig it? I knew you could. Peace and ventilation.
All right, my celestial siblings, before you drift back into the great unknown, if this broadcast tuned your frequencies or just tickled your chakras, do me a solid.
Lay a heavy thumb on that like button. Let the algorithm know that we exist, man. It's the digital applause of the soul.
And if you want to keep riding this caravan of curiosity, subscribe. Join the tribe. Don't be a stranger to the strange. We're all just stardust trying to find a parking spot, right? Finally, gaze upon the bell. Give it a little ring-a-ding-ding. Awaken it. That way, every time we release a new wave of wisdom or a new cloud of gaseous content, you'll be the first cat on the block to catch the scent. Stay tuned, stay weird, and keep your vibration well ventilated. Peace.